My name is Evram. I'm president of the International Youth and Students for Social Equalities Club at the University of Melbourne. I'm 26 years old. Young people have lived our entire lives with the United States at war. From the Middle East to Africa and the Balkans, these wars of aggression have led to millions of deaths and destruction on a mass scale.
My name's Phoebe. I'm 20 years old and I'm opposed to war because of the unnecessary death and destruction it causes millions of people throughout the world.
I firmly oppose imperialist war for all its barbaric characteristics, including cold-blooded murder and destruction of societies into semi-colonial states.
My name's Cobra. I'm 22 years old and I'm against war because I was born in war-torn Afghanistan and have seen firsthand the devastating impact of war on people close to me.
Throughout my life, the United States has been globally engaged in aggressive imperialist wars. From the Balkans, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Yemen, and Syria, these conflicts have led to over 1 million deaths and have brought with them widespread devastation and misery.
We oppose the war drive being carried out by the United States against China. We're actively informing students of the dangers arising from the actions being carried out by the Biden administration and its allies. A nuclear war would see the destruction of human life on an unprecedented scale.
I think that these hostilities between fellow countrymen are not natural and have been designed by the US and their allies.
The pandemic has accelerated this war drive, with more than 500,000 people having died in the US. The ruling elite are seeking to shift these tensions toward an external enemy. The US ruling class and its military are driven by the crisis of the capitalist system in preparing for a world war fought with nuclear weapons.
The current global refugee crisis, the largest since World War II, is a direct consequence of these destructive and seemingly endless wars. Such wars were sold as humanitarian operations, but were entirely centered around expanding the reach of US imperialism. Such a clear example is the bloody Iraq War that was justified on the false pretense to remove weapons of mass destruction.
As the AEST continuously points out, this war is being pursued by the United States and its allies, including Australia, India, and Japan, not for the sake of the Uyghurs, or the warring nations, or any nation's working class. It is for business interests that the threat of war is incessantly intensified during a global health crisis as workers' struggles increase all around the world.
Now, as the United States is seeking to arrest its historic decline, it has set its sights on those that it sees as the main rivals to its global hegemony, Russia and China, threatening a devastating nuclear Third World War.
America has become increasingly more aggressive towards China and has amped up their pro-war rhetoric. Just like in the past, all major political parties here in Australia, such as the Greens Party, the Liberal Party, or the Labor Party, have said no words against this, but actively participate in and benefit from America's military-industrial complex.
Australian imperialism is integrated into the US war drive because they are close military allies. Australia's military expenditure is to surpass $570 billion over this decade. Australia has gone along with every major US intervention since World War II, including in the Middle East in recent decades, where they have uprooted tens of millions of people and destroyed entire societies. Workers in Australia and throughout the region are being put on the front lines of war behind their backs.
There is no section of the ruling elite in the United States, in Australia, or anywhere which has an anti-war program. That is because the drive to war comes objectively out of the economic conditions created under the capitalist nation-state system.
The AEST urges students to turn towards the working class as the only social force capable of countering this drive to war.
The AEST is the only political tendency in Australia, New Zealand, throughout the region or internationally, which is sounding the alarm bells about the drive to war and fighting to build an international anti-war movement of the working class, leading behind it youth and students, to overthrow the capitalist system which is the drive to war. Such an anti-war movement has to be anti-capitalist and has to be socialist, revolutionary, and internationalist. I urge you to attend our meeting this Saturday, April 24th at 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. join the IYSSE, and join the fight to build an international anti-war socialist revolutionary movement.